think as they go into the World Cup break. But we're happy. We've seen a fantastic game of football here this afternoon, and joining us live in the commentary box is Neil Baker. Neil, that was a game of two halves.
Yes, it was. I couldn't see us getting anything at half time unless they did a lot better. We played little bits of good football without getting in, but we looked vulnerable, which I haven't said many times this season. We looked suspect every time the ball went in our box, a corner, the long throws, which we knew about. We dealt with them fairly comfortably, I thought, with the corners, and then they got a striker who kept peeling off onto our left back and gave him a torrid time, but he came through that. So I said at half time, I'm not sure I can help you a great deal. You've got to play better. You've got to do better.
I mean, that was going to be the second question, because unquestionably, as you were getting caught on the counter in the first half, you turned into the second half as being the one that we, taking the counter attack to them, and you really worried them.
Just little change, that's all. Push Rob right up there with Gricey. Will and Dan came as wider midfield players in them little holes, and we played with two central midfield players, and we were able to get Will and Danny in particular free, and we looked with Mark and Billy in there, we looked tighter. It gave us a problem with their deep midfield player, but we solved that. But I thought some of our play and our attacking in the second half was terrific, and they were good to watch. And 10 minutes into the second half, I thought we've got a chance, because we started to play and really play and cause them all sorts of problems.
But when you're listening to a commentary as I have this afternoon producing this programme, you kind of get the sense with the two commentators that this is probably worse defensively that Leek have been this season in the first half to the best football we've seen from Leek in the second half. I mean, it was a roller coaster.
It's how it is at this level, I'm afraid. The first goal, we should never concede. The left centre half and the left back are switched off and the lads got in between them. The second goal was poor organisation from a cleared corner, which is as much my fault as theirs, but it was certainly not right. But they overcame it. They've got this bounce back ability, they really have, and some good characters in the dressing room. And the last two games they've proven that they played two good sides and come back from going behind. And I think 10 minutes from the end we might have just settled for a draw, but they didn't. Great delivery again from Keynes, and Josh has scored. He could have had that trick today, couldn't he?
He could, but I think he was buoyed a little bit by these two getting on at him in the car park last week and saying they'll make him man of the match if he scored. And then Ollie's gone up and got a second in, say 2 and 2 for the central defence.
He must have 6 or 7 goals this season, Ollie Harrison. But it's nice to see him scoring with headers and really bursting the net. They took a quick corner, which was good. It shows they're switched on. Quick corner and good delivery again, and we're back in the game. So it's nice to have centre half scoring, which helps the team. It's nice that midfield players can chip in as well. So when you're scoring from all departments, makes my job a lot easier.
It certainly does. But I've got to say that Leek, as you're coming in, I mean, last week we spoke to you and you said that Clitheroe are going to be a test. I expect them to be right up there, and they were a test. But you completely outclassed them in the second half.
In the second half, yes, yeah. We've always had, particularly up at Clitheroe, I think they've got some good players. They showed that in the first half, but whether it was us, whether it was Len, that ran out of steam a little bit, because it was constant pressure in the second half. And if you can dominate games like that, which we don't always do, but did in the second half, then you wear teams down.
And the bench looks very, very strong these days. Having said that, we saw the omission of Sam Booth off the subs bench Has he left the club?
Yes, it looks like it. He's decided he wants to play his football elsewhere, wants to be a first-team goalkeeper. I couldn't guarantee him that. So he's decided to move on.
So what do you do in terms of a keeper now, Neil? Do you have to bring somebody in? Have we got anybody waiting stage left?
No, we haven't. It's something we need to look at. Happy with Danny keeping goal, but you know, anything can happen. So we need to line one up. It's so hard at this level having a second string goalkeeper, if you like. They want to play football, and to get a good one sitting on your bench every week, you've got to pay him a lot of money to do it. And is it money well spent? Difficult one. You know, it's a balancing act all the time.
Of course it is, but out of your outfield players, if you've got to go to a goalkeeper, which one is it?
Ollie Harrison says it's him, but
he's the biggest, isn't he?
He's the biggest.
He's the biggest.
Yeah. I think it's something to think about. We have discussed it without ever saying, well, you'll do it. I think Grice would volunteer.
It's not big enough.
Lewis Short was one when he was
Don't have Dan Tricky.
No, Dan won't go in goal at this for certain.
Ian, you've got that microphone attackingly poised there, so I was just wondering if you want to come in with a
Well,
question.
one thing I was just going to ask. You must have expected Sefton Gonzalez to start today, and then he wasn't starting, or did you not expect him to start?
No, he got injured a couple of weeks ago.
Right.
So he didn't play last week. So
you'd already knew you didn't want to
With
do
an
that.
idea
Right,
that
that's settled.
yes.
Okay.
Ian, Ian said in commentary, as did Dave, it was a pulsating and a great advert for football at this level. It really was.
The supporters were saying after what a great game it was. I don't think the managers always see quite like the supporters. You know, they got tunnel vision. They're only looking at one team. But I suppose when you look back, you know, they had a lot of the ball in the first half and still looked dangerous on the counter attack in the second half. And some of our football flowed in the second half, and we made a number of chances. Not all clear cut, but you know that our football wore them down.
I think at the end of the day as well, just from the commentators' point of view this afternoon, every league player played with the heart of a lion, and that's what you want. You can't ask for any more as a manager.
No, they've got a good spirit. Never knocked that. Not always showed it in the right way, but they've got a good spirit and they keep going, and they're a good bunch to work with.
Game on Tuesday finally, Neil, how do you see that one?
Well, Widnes are down there, but the new manager's gone in and turned it round to a degree. They've had one or two draws. I was told that they'd won today, which they haven't. But only every week I won't say any difference whether we're playing Widnes or Macclesfield. Every game's a dangerous game, and we haven't quite started games in the last two games. I've made them well aware of that. We're a scalp. Teams want to come to Leek, and when you're up there, teams want to beat you. Their manager doesn't have to motivate them particularly. Just beating Leek is a scalp, and we've got to match what they do in the early stages of the game, particularly the first 20 minutes when teams really have a go. We've got to be at it, and I know that we can then produce the football that we know we're capable of.
Well, I think you've entertained the Moorlands. Neil, it's been a pulsating game. It's been a great listen, and once again, you march on.
Brilliant.
Thanks very much. So that is Neil Baker, the manager of Leek Towns.